today's episode of Overkill, we have the salt machine doing the sidewalks. And the other guy, and believe it or not, about 20 minutes ago, there was a guy with a leaf freaking blower blowing the snow. It's mystifying. Okay, today's episode is called Spray Gun. So I finally broke down and tore the entire gun apart, which involved unscrewing the tip, unscrewing this piece, unscrewing this, pulling the whole trigger piece out, cleaning all this, punching out the ball, and got that to work. Yesterday I bought a can of Great Stuff because I noticed that outside I was getting icicles on the window. Now, these are the original windows, and my siding people and my trim people and my insulation people are all the same people, so I thought that they would have fixed this up nice, but apparently they didn't. So when I removed the piece of wood that was right there, which has been there for 100 years, I found that there was a hole in the bottom. There was a hole at the top. I knew about the top hole, but what I didn't know is that there's a huge gap and you can see daylight. That piece of trim right there, which has the big gap, is supposed to be sealed. And I don't know why they didn't caulk it or do any of the things they're supposed to. You can also see a gap down there. So next spring, I'm gonna have to tear into this and clean all this out and caulk it. So that's the first problem. So air was flowing in and out and out. So I spray foamed the entire cavity, which you can't see now. Then I found some dense mineral wool. I like mineral wool because it stays put and because I had it available and packed it in there. Then I'll lightly tack that piece back up there. But that would explain the huge amount of airflow coming out, which was then causing the overhang to melt, which was then dripping back in the house and going down the house. So that was the first one. So this window here is a little hard to get to because it's about 20 feet high. So I put a ladder, which of course I'll have marks up there, but then I filled in the big gaps up there. Going all the way down, also cleaned up the window and also fixed this piece. I don't know if you can see the pieces of plastic underneath the shims was off by a quarter inch, tilted down, which looked really stupid. This was also a little bit out. So I insulate the heck out of that. So 11 years ago, we redid the kitchen. It had the original 70s cabinets, and it was quite invasive. I completely removed this entire wall. My wife came home and that entire wall was open in December of 2010. So anyhow, we got a vent, which is widely used. It comes up, and goes around here, and it comes over here, and it comes out here, and then shoots out. So when I put that in 10 years ago, I carefully caulked and sealed the end caps, the part that goes outside. So a couple days ago, I was noticing that my wife was running the fan, and the flapper wasn't open. So I came in, made sure the fan was on, went outside and opened it up and looked in, and I could see light coming from the outside. So basically, when the siding people redid the siding, they pulled the apparatus out. Probably saw it was a really nice one because it was heavy duty black steel and in good shape, and they pushed it back in, but they didn't caulk any of it. So I came back, caulked the gap all the way along there, caulked and kind of sealed this in there. It's now caulked in there, and then caulked the heck out of that. When I say caulk, I mean spray insulation. You can see over there. So then I removed all the nails, the original plaster. Got that all in there, so at least now the air will go out the vent as intended, not outside. And that was pretty much for today. Then tomorrow, we're gonna go under this part of the basement. We're gonna install the bubble insulation. And I'll probably do a little bit in the kitchen too. So what does this do? Basically, I got two zones, upstairs, downstairs. There's a thermostat at the top of the stairs up there, and there's one right here. So if I seal or get the heat from downstairs to come up, which is the goal, then it will make this warmer and more controllable. And then also by sealing this, the heat will not come down and up, it will go up where it belongs. So all along here, we have the insulation, and in that room, the bathroom, we don't have it in here yet because we don't. And then this ceiling's a little bit of a challenge. It's going to be a metal tin when it's done, but you notice that
It's two different.
Hello. So we have a friend at work who wants to replace this in a sign, backlighting, with these. So we wanted to design like a socket here that then accepts the LED and allows it to be positioned like that. So we measured with the new calipers the sizes of this and the sizes of the base, and we then tried to learn CAD. So I created a cylinder, and then I created two other cylinders of the different sizes. So this size is going to be so that you can pull the LED through. This little lip at the bottom, as you can kind of see, it's a little bit bigger at the bottom, will be hung up on that, and then the wires will come out. So this will allow us to get it to sit, and then we slide this into the socket, the whole thing, and glue it so that each LED is pointing up. So once we got this, and I got this by creating these two cylinders and then subtracting them from here, they call it cut. Then we exported the file in an STL and loaded in our slicer. The slicer is the machine that creates the actual code for the 3D printer. And then if we take this and rotate it, you should see the hole is a little bit bigger on that side. And that again is to allow this to be slid in but not go all the way through. So then we save that to a little chip here. We actually say print. There's a lot of settings here that I don't really touch. Print speed, temperature, bed temperature. I don't want bed that high. Then this is a virtual look at the size that the printer can print, and then of course the bed, which is a magnetic plastic. So then we take it out of the computer and we slide it into there. Oops, into there. Turn the printer on until it's printing. So now she's printing. So she prints a little plastic bed, something for it to sit on, and it's gonna print with the hole up. There we go. And she's 32% done. 11 minutes, so it's going to take approximately 20 minutes to print. And we'll see if the LED fits. And then tomorrow we'll see if the socket fits into the lamp holder. I should mention I already printed one out. You can see the hole right there. Unfortunately, this is before I grabbed the micrometers. Didn't have exact dimensions. While the base size is very similar in diameter, I made the new one a little bit longer. As you can see, the bulb is a little bit taller, but also the LED doesn't fit. So the LED is 4.7 millimeters, and when you try and put her in the hole, she wasn't big enough because I made the hole like 4 millimeters. So sometimes things can be too big, sometimes they can't be too big. That's too small. Okay, so we printed our first one. It didn't exactly go as planned. I thought that the top would slide into the hole. As you can see, it doesn't slide in. However, by chance, the wires actually hold it in there pretty well. So if we slide this in, we can rotate it to whichever point we want and then glue it into place. So I told it to make 9 more, and that is what she's doing. A little weird. So we'll see. While I was exact on the measurements, I think that the accuracy of the material is a little lacking at this level, because I'm doing like 0.0 millimeters, but you can kind of see the holes a little rough. So finally got the right size. It fits in there nice and tight. So I think just a little bit of glue holding it in there will do the trick. One cat en route to vet. So it's relatively warm today, in the 40s, and I gave blood, and they said I should work on my car because I need to replace the struts. So I was cleaning up the garage and putting stuff away, clean up the yard. And I ran into this literally, and I bought this about a month ago, and I got it for $5. But I bought it in a dark garage, and but she had a big crack. She was cracked from here to here. This is cracked over here. So we took our excellent welding skills, and I put a piece of metal underneath here and jammed it in with some wood, and that allowed it to the molten metal to not adhere and not fill up this hole. But I don't know, she'll work. Chances are I'll probably never use this. I need to find the little piece of metal that goes in here underneath this. It's just moving around. I don't know what I did with it. So now we can put that on the shelf for use someday. That's pretty much what we've been working on this afternoon. I put this together. This is a beast. This is for taking the struts apart. It's got a big cylinder down here, and you pump this, and spring goes up, and it compresses, and it's $100, but it should be worth it because it's a lot safer than the normal way of doing things. What else do we do lately? I think that's about it. Got to get back to that and start that chainsaw. There's something else I worked on recently. I don't know. Something important. Oh well. Okay, so there's 3. So last week I printed off a bunch of these adapters. They're for Adam Org. I did try to do a whole set last Sunday, but what happened was this whole set detached from the base, and then it just kind of kept going up. Let's see better that way. And it didn't quite come out as intended. So these are designed to fit an LED. So you can see there's a little pocket in there for the LED to slide through. The wires come out the other side. And then this fits in where the light bulb would go in the socket. So this is just a little bit bigger. And it took a while to get that. And unfortunately, all the sockets are in a place I couldn't easily measure. But I did know that it was smaller than this diameter, but bigger than this diameter. Or I'm sorry, smaller than this, but bigger than this. So it took a couple iterations, but we got a set at work on 3. And so this is 6, so we'll print 4 more. So to do this, we tell the thing to prepare. So we're going to set it to auto home. This resets where it starts. And then we will tell it to preheat. Whoop, back. For PLA, PLA is the type of material we're using. That's this. PLA wants to be pretty hot. You're usually running about 220. So I've got the memory chip in. It has all the programs to print. So we call this lampsocket.g code, and now she's printing. So right now it's actually heating up. So it's heating this to 220 in the bed, which is just the 45C. The bed's actually magnetic, and I screwed the bed up back here. But see how messed up it is. Better this way. I got some extras, but this is small, and I'm just doing it over here where it's still pretty flat. So I actually learned how to do this by using a program called FreeCAD. And so FreeCAD allowed me to draw a cylinder, and we can change the size, so the radius, height, whoops, and angle, so it's sitting straight up, and that's this piece. Then I was able to draw the cylinder here and subtract it, and then I was able to draw this cylinder and subtract it. So there's what's called a cut here. So I took the original large piece and subtracted this piece and this hole here. There's 2 different pieces. That was a little tricky. I could draw those, but then I had to learn how to get them 90 degrees and then move them back and forth. But it turned out it was pretty easy with this control here called placement. So by doing this, you can adjust the angle and in and out. And once that was done, then we exported the file in what's called an STL. And that's a 3D model. Get out of there. So FreeCAD, it was free. Then we went into the software to place it. So basically that's the bed of the 3D printer. We say load model, and then we pick our file that we just saved. It randomly dumps it, we can move it around. Now we can also do some things like we can copy it, we can do a different scale if we want to make it bigger or smaller, we can rotate it. So I've been rotating it to make sure that the hole was on the top, and then I like to rotate it so that you can see the holes for the front. Then you can move them around. So the next run I will do 4 and test my luck. So then we'll save file and print. I won't do it right now because the memory cartridge is in there, but I do think I'm gonna move these suckers back a little bit. And this is the base that it adheres to the plate so that the plastic has something to stick to. And that's pretty much it. So I realized it would make more sense if I showed you what a cat's supposed to look like. So you can see here, lots of clear area. That's because the lugs are full of air. That's the liver, then stuff. And there's the poop exit area and lots of stuff. My cat, however, doesn't have a lot of open area. Has no stuff. So, right cat. R is actually not for right. Wrong cat. So, hopefully that makes a little more sense as to what it's supposed to look like. I don't know if I can make this look more better. But yeah, that's not good. That's yeah. We want that. Hi Gamut, it's Felder. How you feeling, buddy? Anyhow, so last fall I bought a track saw. There's one in that bag, and there's another track here. These tracks bolt together. This is 39 inches, the other one's 55, which allows me to do 8 feet. But this week, I figured out how to use the very expensive, pretty 3D printer at work. So I printed this out. So basically what this does is this rides in the track here. So that's backwards. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. And as you can see, when it's on the bottom, it's going to provide a fence. So if I slide this in, I don't understand the YouTubers and that one-handed crap. Hey Spike. So I can slide this back and forth and move this, but it gives me a 90-degree angle, which to lay the track saw on to make a nice 90-degree cut. Now, of course, you can move this any which way, but I found that you move one end, it messes up the other end, and this at least gets me close to 99% or 90 degrees right away. So that's something I look forward to using. What other toys do we get? Lowe's is selling these. These are bits, square bits, number 2, Robinson bits, and number T25 for $2 last week. So we got some of those. Then they're selling these kits for $5. So I like the Bosches. They used to be my favorite because of the fact that they have clear tops. You know, anti-theft. We'll be back. So yeah, basically what I like about these is one, they were $5, but they're good high quality bits. This particular set, which I bought 3 of, I like the clear top. I can see right away, and then everything's labeled in bright colors. So you want an R2, there's an R2, Robinson 2. This particular one also has an extender, which is handy, but also has 3 drill bits. These are pretty decent quality drill bits. So for $5, probably give them to shorter people than me. And then same thing with these. Whenever you grab a Torx, sometimes you say, hey, that's the Torx I need, but then it's a T27 and you need a T25. These are clearly identified. Focus, this is T25. And they're nice and long, so you can chuck these directly into your drill. And it goes in this nice little container that also had anti-theft protection. This one-handed videotaping stuff is harder than you would think. There she goes. It's like repackaging TikToks. Get the fuck in there. There we go. Now we're in there. So, another lifetime supply. We'll put it next to the other lifetime supply. Where's the other lifetime supply? I don't know. Put it over there. So, that's what we got while we were cruising there. Oh, and we got this. So this is a electronic door lock. So, but it's $100. It's used. This little module right here is a Z-Wave, which allows me to integrate it with my home system, the SmartThings. This alone is $150. So I kind of bought this for just that unit. And then this will go, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this, but I think I'm going to put this in the front of the house. And then take the one that's there that just has numbers and put it on the garage, because now we're locking the garage, because it's a good thing to do. So, anyhow, it's a Yale, so it'll all integrate. It is a little used like, but I like the keys. That's kind of weird. So there's that. Another project for a nice warm day, right? So the other thing I got last week was this. This is an electronic door lock, and it's used. The person who shipped it did a shitty job of packing it. They just threw it in here with the peanuts. I have to clean off the paint from the previous owner on the gasket. Probably doesn't match the existing paint. And then I love the fact that this has an invoice to somebody other than the person who sold this to me for something completely different, so that's really helpful. So, at least it did come with the key. Even if it didn't work, which it will, what it did come with that I needed was the radio module, which is inside of here. That alone was more than what I paid for the entire unit. So we will have to do some cleanup and figure out why it's all scratched. Maybe it's just the, I don't know what it is. It's kind of hard to tell here, but maybe like that. Yeah, now you can kind of see it's all scratched up. If I could just clean off the clear coat and put a new coat on there. Yeah, that's a project for another day. So for something completely different, about 12 years ago I made a bunch of these, and then you put this on a piece of wood and then you can hang stuff on it. And I had one extra one that never ended up doing anything, but she got all rusty. So today I'm going to paint her with some powder paint. So basically you hang the device that you want to paint, which of course has to be metal, onto your paint booth, in my case this cardboard box. Then you cook up that gives it a negative charge. Then you have your air line connected to your powder coater, and then you turn the powder coat machine on. So this is going to spray powder that will come out of here with air. Okay, so we turn the air back on because it was turned off, and then hook the alligator clip directly to the unit. We'll put on the thing, and hopefully you'll see. You like coating. So basically what we're trying to do is coat the metal evenly with this powder. And I'm not sure if that's getting done. The powder has a charge and picks up that charge and sticks to the unit. No, I think that's good. Doesn't taste good. I don't know how to get it. Okay, so now we have the device in the oven. The oven is set to really freaking hot, and I think we baked this for about 45 minutes. Okay, there she is. She's all powder coated. That is a permanent paint application. So we'll let that cool down. Kind of stinks, but that's why we got the window opens. There's somebody's hunting with foxes or foxhounds. Or there's some puppy eaters out there. Maybe even kittens. Maybe that's why Jack ran in.